We already know Dragon Ball is going to be epic in big 2026. A lot of us fans like to call it the year of Dragon Ball, especially at the end of this month, January, with the new upcoming event called Genkidama Matsuri. They already have planned out 2 major project announcements for us, as well as a new Dragon Ball video game announcement. But anime as a whole for 2026 seems very promising. We already have 7 Deadly Sins Origins planned to release later this month, January. Then next month in February, early February actually, we're going to be getting the 3rd installment of the One Justice franchise, My Hero Academia Oz Justice. We did receive some very interesting news yesterday. Massive thanks to Shonen Games for sharing. CyberConnect 2 is going to be dropping their newest video game title soon, at least making an announcement. So we'll go ahead and break down all the details. But real quick, if you guys aren't familiar with the legendary developers CyberConnect 2, let's just do this quick breakdown. I would say they're most noticeably known for their Hack series and Ultimate Ninja Storm series. Storm 4 dropped back in 2016. You already know they cook with the animations, the cutscenes, story mode, gameplay, very fun as well. It's just an all-around great time for anime gaming, I guess you could say, if you're a Naruto fan. But they have worked on other anime IPs such as Dragon Ball. This video game dropped in 2020. With each video game they drop, the developers as a whole company, CyberConnect 2, they get even more popular and popular. Usually when a new game drops, people just care about the video game, what the anime IP is, right? But CyberConnect 2 is so legendary that people care about the actual developers. Now we're to the point where CyberConnect 2 is dropping a new video game and everybody is ecstatic and stoked, right? So that's epic to see. They also created Demon Slayer video games called Hinokami Chronicles. I think Hinokami Chronicles 1 dropped after Kakarot's in 2021. Then they dropped the sequel, Hinokami Chronicles 2, last year in 2025. But real quick, we do have a list of video games that they've created ever since they started. Again, most notably known for the Hack series. They created a ton of those. And the Ultimate Ninja series. Now, these ones right here are going to be the classic Naruto games back on the PlayStation 2, right? If you know, you know. Ultimate Ninja 3, outstanding video game. But they made many more. Azura's Wrath, that's another great one. Now, I don't think this new title is going to be an Azura's Wrath 2, even though that would be epic. I do think it's going to be anime related just because of what they stated in the interview. They've even created a couple JoJo Bizarre Adventure games, a lot more Naruto. There's the Dragon Ball Kakarot's, Hinokami Chronicles, and their latest game is Hinokami Chronicles 2. Now, they do have 2 other video games in the works, Cecil and Tokyo Gates, but do keep in mind that the new upcoming title that they're referring to is not going to be any of these ones right here because it hasn't been announced just yet. So, going back to the interview, the whole points for today's video, we do have the sources down here. Source 1 from Gematsu and the second source from Famitsu. They're both basically the same. We'll go over the Famitsu one. Without further ado, make sure to drop a like on today's video, turn on post notifications, subscribe if you're new around here. I would greatly appreciate it. And let's jump straight into it. The article starts off by saying 171 game creators share their aspirations for 2026, from sincere goals to comments suggesting new work. The future of the gaming industry lies here. It's going to be a total of 18 pages, but we're just here for one gaming company or developer. That's CyberConnect 2. If you guys are interested in any of the other developers, such as Arc System Works or Art Play, Idea Factory, Atlas, then you guys can read the article on your own time. Again, we're just here for CC2. But legendary companies like Capcom, we have Koei Tecmo Games, again, all just talking about what they're working on or have planned for the year 2026. Konami Digital Entertainment right there. CD Projekt Red. We even have some talks with Square Enix, Spike Chunsoft, recently developed Sparking Zero. I've already checked the Spike Chunsoft category. There's nothing Dragon Ball related. Sega, I know there's a lot of Dragon Ball or Sonic fans out there. Sony Interactive. We have Tokyo Games, and I believe even Bandai Namco Entertainment. Again, I've checked for anime titles, nothing too fancy there. So let's go over to the CyberConnect 2 article. We go ahead and click on that. scroll down to the specific segments right here. Hiroshi Matsuyama, Cyber Connect 2. So if you don't know who he is, representative, director, president, and executive producer of many games. He also wrote the original story for Chaser Game, which was also broadcasted as a live action drama in 2025. He released Senju no 3. Yeah, okay. So, keyword, CyberConnect 2 celebrates its 30th anniversary. Huge shout outs to them. I'm pretty sure this is why they even shared a little bit of their upcoming title in the first place, just to get us hyped up and have us tuned in, right? So aspirations again for 2026. This year marks the 30th anniversary of our founding, and we are planning a party to celebrate the milestone on February 16th, 2026. This will be a party for industry insiders, and we will be announcing the CyberConnect 2 30th anniversary title there. We are sure that people all over the world will be delighted with the announcements. Now, if you ask me, that's a pretty bold statement. People all over the world will be happy with this upcoming 30th CyberConnect 2 anniversary video game title. That has me pretty pumped up, not going to lie. To be fair, they do have a very good track record, a previous history of providing nothing but top tier video games, going back to DBZ Kakarot's, Demon Slayer, the Storm series. You know what I mean? So very promising video game by CC2 themselves. We will talk a little bit more about this sentence later in this video, just speculate what we think the upcoming video game announcement could be, as well as go over some other people's speculation and theories. But for now, let's move on to the next segment. He goes on to say, it's categorized as their recent situation, so maybe this doesn't correlate with their new 30th anniversary video game title. It very well could, but me personally, I don't think so. I think this is just what he's doing in his free time. TV anime starts on January 8th, 2026. The TV anime Jujutsu Kaisen Death and Resurrection Part 1 will begin airing on January 8th, 2026. Alright, it's a bit redundant in this paragraph, but it is what it is. If you haven't heard, yes, Season 3 will premiere soon, 5 more days at the time of recording this video to be exact. The 2025 pre-release movie was a huge hit, if you guys haven't heard about that as well. Last year, December 5th, they dropped the Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, and as this paragraph says, it was a huge hit. But the sequel will finally be broadcasted as a TV anime, so please be sure to check it out. I'll watch it too. What? Me? It has nothing to do with me. I'll just watch it because he's a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen. Actually, I could have made an announcement on January 9th, but as of today, there's nothing in particular I can announce. So everyone please watch Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime. So it is kind of sus how he literally just teased the upcoming video game title for the CyberConnect 2 30th anniversary, and then mentions the upcoming Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 anime. I can see why people are thinking that we're going to be getting a Jujutsu Kaisen video game, or at least, speculating about it, which, to be honest, very well could be the case. I mean, he does literally say, I could have made an announcement on the 9th, because since Season 3 is premiering on January 8th, he just think it would be good marketing to promote his video game at the same time, if it were to be Jujutsu Kaisen, which we just have to wait for the official announcements, which again is going to be on February 16th, the middle of next month. It very well could be JJK, or it could be something else entirely. Now, at the same time, I wouldn't mind a Jujutsu Kaisen game because, one, it's being developed by CyberConnect 2, and as I mentioned at the start of the video, according to the Storm series, DBZ Kakarot, and Demon Slayer, they all are pretty top tier with the actual gameplay, mechanics, features, graphics, art style, animations. In my personal opinion, it could fit and to do justice to the Jujutsu Kaisen world or universe, right? Wouldn't that be crazy? Just imagine the combat, because I do know the anime haven't necessarily seen it, but they box a lot, they throw hands, they have projectiles, they jump all over the place, they throw out the curse energy, you know what I mean? So it definitely could fit well with the game being developed by CC2. And I know a lot of people are starting to get burnt out of the 3D fighting game genre. You know, people are saying enough with the storm copies. So it very well could be a 3D fighting game, or it could be, you know, a story-driven game like Kakarot, or maybe something else like a 2.5D fighting game, because they have worked on stuff like that in the past, as we went over. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I think that was more like a 2.5D type of style. Yeah, they could go back to that type of style. Who knows? But the second point why I wouldn't mind a Jujutsu Kaisen game is because we desperately need a better version of the game in the first place, because I'm sure you guys remember the Cursed Clash video game that dropped 2024, or maybe even last year. It didn't necessarily last that long because it wasn't necessarily the greatest. This game was developed by Viking, the same developers who's going to be dropping All's Justice next month, right? The All Justice series, or One Justice series, very fun game. The gameplay style is something similar to that, somewhat floaty. I just think it's funny how it works for My Hero Academia, but not necessarily Jujutsu Kaisen. So for each anime IP, you have to get the specifics down correctly, and I truly believe CC2 could do all of that and redeem the franchise, at least in terms of the video game category. I did mention that I wanted to go back to this sentence here, talk a little bit more about it, and just give you guys my thoughts and speculation, what I think the upcoming title could possibly be, because it's a very bold statement. We are sure that people all over the world will be delighted with the announcement. And what's currently ruling the world right now? Anime. Which anime, you're probably asking? There are some that are better than others. You guys can decide that for yourselves down below in the comments, but all of them are pretty dang epic and poppin', correct? So I think it would be great if CyberConnect 2 would create the next J-Stars video game. We recently got Jump Force back in 2018, 2017, somewhere around there, created by Spike Chunsoft, who recently dropped Sparking Zero. You know, very fun game, both of them. I know not a lot of people necessarily liked Jump Force. It was like a hit and miss for some players. Me, myself, I thought it was fine. You know, it obviously could have been better, but with the 3D fighting style, all the anime characters, and I think CyberConnect 2 could definitely create the best J-Stars video game that we've seen. J-Stars Plus, you know, the one on PlayStation 3, some say that one is even better than Jump Force, which, you know, I definitely understand why. But imagine Goku, Luffy, Naruto, Bleach, Ichigo, and all the other anime out there with the CyberConnect 2 developers in the background. You know how crazy each animation would be for the basic gameplay style, the cutscenes for their supers and ultimate attacks. We already know that they can create outstanding video games. So if they can create a Jump Force 2 or a Jump Festa anime game, I think they could do it justice. And I know maybe people don't like the idea of a next Jump Force game just because of the recent one we had. It wasn't the most popular, but it was still somewhat good. And I really do think a new J-Stars game suits well with this sentence here. We are sure that people all over the world will be delighted with it. If you don't like Dragon Ball, but you like One Piece, boom, you can play as Luffy. If you don't like the newer anime like Demon Slayer, Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen, but you like the older anime, boom, you can play as those guys. You know what I mean? Dude, I think that would be nice. I definitely do. And it is about that time for the next installment of the J-Stars franchise, right? Because I think the PS3 one dropped back in 2014, and then Jump Force, as I mentioned, 2018. So it's been, what, about 7 years ever since the last J-Stars game. But that's just my personal opinion. I want you guys to comment down below what you think the new CyberConnect 2 video game title is going to be. Now, real quick, just going over some other people's opinion. Some going with the Jujutsu Kaisen video game speculation because, again, of what he mentions for his recent situation, which very well could happen, don't get me wrong. But I prefer a Jump Force. And why not include Jujutsu Kaisen if it's a shonen? Because I think they only work on shonen video games. Now, here we have some concept arts of people just speculating. Again, you know, quote tweeting the initial information we just went over. pretty dang cool stuff that we have here. I think this is supposed to be a turn-based Jujutsu Kaisen game with Gojo and, yeah, the volcano villain. I haven't necessarily watched the anime. Not too familiar with the characters. And I think this is supposed to be more of an open world Jujutsu Kaisen game. And shoutouts to C-Pass Dry for creating these artworks. I think it looks very nice, if you ask me. And here we have this final one of Utatori fighting a ghost villain. Here we have an interesting tweet by Flowing Waves. The first chapter of the Black Clover manga, titled Chapter 1, was released in Japan on February 16th, 2015 in Weekly Shonen Jump, starting the long-running fantasy series by Yuki Tabata. That's interesting that they pointed this out. I'm not saying this is going to be the case, but sometimes the developers working on whatever video game they are working on, they like to release their announcements on very specific dates of the anime. For example, he literally just said, I could have made an announcement if it was a Jujutsu Kaisen game on the 9th, because Season 3 is going to be premiering on the 8th. You see what I mean? So, since Black Clover manga Chapter 1 released February 16th, and their milestone celebration is also on February 16th, this person thinks it's possible that it could be a Black Clover video game, which, you know, if so, then so be it. We haven't had one of those in a long time. I believe the last Black Clover game was like a Battle Royale type thing, or maybe like a 5v5 team-based shooter, whatever it was, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I just want you guys to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. 2026 is going to be the year of not only Dragon Ball, but anime as a whole. So again, big thanks to Shonen Games for tweeting out the info, as well as the sources, Jim Natsu and Famutsi. This is it for today's video. Thank you guys for the immense support as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace!